Hello, my name is Firestar, or Taiho from the Game of Dwarves forums. This is a test video mainly to show off my first fortress and maybe throw in a little feedback for the devs. Mostly junk that only I would care about, like harping on about a little basket of apples that is non-craftable, but there might be some other stuff that I will mention that will benefit others. Now, the original plan for this fortress was to go back and fill all the holes in with boxes, but my tolerance for tediousness kinda ended when it took me 3 hours to figure out how to stack wall pieces on top of doors like this. I will do my best to showcase my work, but that also means you get the task of ignoring some of the messy holes I've dug. Now, a little introduction. We are Blue Tree Clan. I know, a bunch of dwarves with a tree as their symbol. Crazy, right? Well, it's inherited. You can thank my father, the leader of the Gold Tree Clan. Personally, I would have been happier with Axe Clan or the best damn drinkers anywhere, but the single dwarf that makes clan tapestries didn't think of any of that, so here we are. Blue Tree Clan. The first thing I want to show you is my food farm. Now, normally I will seal this off by deleting these ladders so that the workers can be self-sufficient. More importantly is the fact that some lazy worker or dwarfling often steals the bed and make my workers go elsewhere. Always a party at my workers. See, this is why I seal off workers from everybody else. Too many parties and not enough work. This time around, for this fortress, I've done a little more fashion over function. For example, the beds in the farmer's house aren't really in an optimal place, but that was so I could give them a place to wash and have some storage. Next stop is the woodcutter's house. He was supposed to keep a fine supply of wood on hand in case something ever happens to the trees. But it looks like he's more into getting nice stuff for his house. I'll have to speak with him about that later. Many items in this house are not craftable. The bench that this dwarf is sitting on, these stairs, I don't know if they're leather or just dirt, but I have been through 4 maps, and this is the only one I've ever found of them. It's really a shame that I can't use them anywhere else. The bench, the tiny books are also non-craftable, but they really add to the atmosphere and the theme of this house. Next off, we will be visiting the Mushroom Man, a grumpy little guy. He wouldn't let the crafters into his house, so he decided to do all the decorating himself. I haven't tested to see whether this table actually counts as a food source or not, but I guess I'll figure that out once I take all the ladders away and seal the workers off from the rest of the world, so that I could maybe stop the farmers' parties. Finally, we get to see the fortress itself. These decorative panels are not craftable in the game. I had to bring them all up by hand. It was kind of a pain in the butt. I hope to never do that again, so I'd like to see these tiles put into the game. However, I think I can maybe see why they are not put into the game. When switching levels, sometimes they show up when they're not supposed to. Of course, now it's not going to do it, but earlier I was having troubles with these stone panels showing up when they shouldn't. Anyway, here's where the prince entertains guests. He has 4 council member seats, which are currently taken up by loafers. Let's go check the kitchen. Maybe the kitchen is getting lax. Oh, look, my prince is running to the kitchen again. I don't see any shortage of food. So why are all the parties at the farmer's house? Let's check the larder. Maybe there's something down here that, oh. Oh dear. Well, I suppose you have to put meat on the tables every now and again, but, isn't this a little grim? Maybe I could get some spice racks or cupboards or something like that. You know, a little less horrific for down here. Even these little pots, you know, you guessed it, you're at the mercy of the random number generator whether you get them or not. I would also like to point out that I've been in a bit of a hurry to cover up these blocks whenever I make them, but I think here it serves to make my larder look a little more unfinished and adds to that aspect, so pretty nice. I think these are one of the only items in the game where the items match the furniture. Anyway, to the barracks we go. Are my doors missing somehow? I think they are. How bizarre. I had a door here. Oh well. Barracks are pretty simple and clean. I guess the soldiers don't need a lot of frou-frou in their lives. Except for maybe the captain. He gets to fill out paperwork all day. Poor captain. I do not envy his job. Where to next? Oh, the treasure rooms. These are where we store the tributes paid to us by our sister clans, Red Tree and Green Tree. Red Tree, as you can see, is very rich in iron. So they send us weapons, armor, and any masterwork stuff they have lying around. In addition, we get 5 carts of raw ore each year in exchange for a little marble. Aren't they nice? Speaking of iron doors, I'd like to see them put into the game. Currently we have all these nice treasure items, you know, gold and riches and chests, and all we have to put them behind are wooden doors. I think for this kind of thing, even stone doors would be preferable to wood. But iron doors would be very nice, and it would give me a chance to use a little more of the iron that I have lying around. Anyways, Green Tree Clan is very rich in gold. This area is where we store the marble and other precious stones that are getting ready to be shipped off to the other clans where the yearly tribute exchange happens. I'm not sure why it's still called a tribute and not just a trade, but, politics. This area is from a goblin community we found deep in the mines. Ludicrous, right? Friendly goblins. Well, even if they are a little flea-infested, the gesture of getting beds from a creature like that should be honored, even if it is not all that valuable. He gave us some food, too. Can you believe it? Maybe this is a start of, well, I don't know what this is a start of, because from our point of view, these gifts are still pretty horrid. Ah, the elves. So rich in bizarre lore and knowledge that dwarves really don't have use for. They have nice music, though. Maybe we can transmute it to our taste. That's wrong. Wow. Ah, the elves. So rich in bizarre knowledge that we dwarves really don't need. Nice music, though. Maybe it can be altered to our liking. Where to next? The prince's room. Surely this is where the most lavish decorations and wonderful treasures are kept. Oh. Huh. This really isn't all that fancy. Well, that is because we are dwarves. We must never lose our love for the simplicity of stone, for it keeps us from falling into the sky. So say some of the others. Let's move on to the catacombs. Many accidents came into the making of this fortress, and it's important that we remember those that were lost by all these unfortunate accidents. If you're looking for a loved one, you can look up the name on this book, or if lighting a candle somehow eases your grief, you are free to do so. The first stop on our tour is the Ward of Innocence. Children and minors mostly, those that unfairly lost their lives in combat when they cannot defend themselves, or because someone forgot to help them out of a hole so that they could eat. That's kind of funny. Speaking of eating, here we actually also honor the chickens and the wonderful Hassenpfeffer that we get on a daily basis. So sad. So deliciously sad. Anyway, our warrior tomb houses the brave late Red Platoon who faced off against a level 30. So brave, if not a little bit foolish. But here they are. You can come visit them at any time. The next area is where I started to run out of steam. I should probably end this video soon anyway because it's getting a little long. Anyway, this over here is where my researcher lives. And some random crafter, apparently. Here I would have preferred to use the nice green elven walls that I saw in the campaign. And the flooring too that looks like tatami mats, but for some reason I don't have those and I have to use the same black and purple that I use everywhere else. I find this a little boring, so I'd like more craftable things. But anyway, I hope you liked my tour, and I hope to see you next time I make another fortress.